Hello and welcome to Hanro FC. Today we're checking out r/football and checking out some unpopular football opinions. I'll have a little counter up for each opinion, whether it's a good opinion or a bad opinion. And at the end we'll decide if r/football is deluded or have ultimate ball knowledge. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so the first football opinion we have is Mats Hummels is/was overall better than Virgil van Dijk throughout his career. I am a Dortmund fan, so I might be biased, but I can't see what Virgil van Dijk is better at other than pace. We're not starting off great here. This is a bad opinion. Virgil van Dijk, I think, is... I'm hesitant to say the best defender ever but definitely the best active defender right now. I think he is easily the best defender, and he has been for quite a long time. It will sound dumb, but I'll justify it in a second. A part of why he's such a good defender is he has such a commanding presence on the pitch. And before you all go,
commanding presence, Joshy. Well.
Shut up. Let me cook. Imagine you're a striker, right? And you're going up against Virgil van Dijk. A part of why he's a good defender is he's going to take the ball from you. And there's nothing you can do to stop that. But also a part of his defending is having you know that. You're running at him and you're like, oh, shit, it's Virgil van Dijk. He's going to floor me. And so it makes you hesitant, and you shoot too early or you shoot too late. You shoot wide, you hit the crossbar, you shoot up, you shoot down, you miss. A lot of why he is one of the greatest defenders is because, and I say this hesitantly because I don't know what better wording to use, is because he has the aura. He is him. And it's so hard to replicate that for any other defender. Maybe Sergio Ramos, again, Maldini, but other than that, there are very few defenders who have his reputation, who can get inside an attacker's head like that. And I think that is what he has over Mats Hummels that makes him one of the best defenders, one of the best of all time, and the best defender currently active. So yeah, bad opinion to start. The second opinion we have here is off to a better start. Guardiola may not be as good as people think he is. You can obviously see his mark on the team's play style. Kudos. But he was never really tested like other top managers. Managed prime Barca, then the team that destroyed Barca, Bayern, and now a team with almost endless cash and 115 charges. Not to mention making terrible mistakes in the Champions League like the one against Madrid back when he managed Munich, and against Chelsea in the final. He could be the most brilliant manager in the world, but it's hard to tell until he is really challenged. I agree with this for every single reason they mentioned. Look, he is tactically inept. There's no discrediting that. There's no putting that away. He has such a tactical mind for football, and it's incredible, and it's why Manchester City have been such a difficult opponent for Liverpool in the last 10 years, right? And I think, you look at the teams he's managed, they weren't difficult to manage. That prime Barca team, you had Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Puyol, the list goes on. Right, that Bayern team, again, the same. They were stacked, right? And now this Manchester City team with 115 charges, you bought success. But overall, I think, my bias is showing, but, you look at Jurgen Klopp and the team he inherited, it was awful. It was terrible. I'm sorry. I hate to badmouth my team. I really do. But we were in shambles. It's the whole reason that doubters to believers is a phrase. is because we were so down in the dumps and we were so garbage that he came and he built the team up over his tenure. At 7-8 years, right? And he gave us the team that Arnie Slot now manages. Right? It's incredible the challenge he had. Right? Another example, right? You look at Nuno Esperanto, the Forest manager, right? He was challenged massively, and I'm talking about this season because it's the most current, right? But you look at him and how he works, right? He went from a near relegation side that I predicted to get relegated this season to challenging for the title, being literally one of the only actual decent title contenders apart from Liverpool, right? He switched that around so quickly, and something about it clicked. But you can't say that he wasn't challenged, right? And now he will go down as one of the best Premier League managers ever for that single season. In kind of the same way that Arsene Wenger did, right? But yeah, I do agree. Pep Guardiola hasn't really been challenged, and therefore it's difficult to say that he's a good manager. He just had really good teams. So, good opinion. Here's an interesting one, and I'm going to save my opinion till the end. The Premier League is overrated. A team like Arsenal is just mid. Too many average players, and media calls them world class. I understand this argument. I do. I think the large majority of Premier League teams and Premier League players are average below average. Right? A lot of the Premier League clubs that are in the Premier League are only there because they didn't get relegated. Is because they just scraped through. Right, you look at Everton. Hell, the whole reason Nottingham Forest is still in the Premier League right now is because they scraped out. Wolves, same deal. Right? And I understand the argument that, you know, there aren't very many good teams in the Premier League. You know, each of them have, you know, a couple star players for their team. But at the end of the day, they're not good teams. You know, they're teams that you kind of go, if you draw against them this week, it's like, oh, sick, we've got an easy win, right? Even West Ham's kind of got to that area, right? If I see them fixtured against Liverpool, I'm like, sick, we're going to win. Right? It's a bad mindset, but unfortunately that is the way that we're conditioned. It's not competitive. And I get that argument that it is overrated in that sense. In the sense of average players, again, I get it. You know, the large majority of players aren't world class. They aren't big names. But I think the ones that are big names and the ones that are world class, you think Mo Salah, Virgil, Trent, Alisson, and then you think Haaland, KDB. I'm hesitant, but even to say Phil Foden, right? Saka, you can't even say that he hasn't had an impact for England, right? And then beyond that, you know, Cole Palmer, he has become a world class player, right? And yeah, I guess the players that are world class are massively world class, but I think the average player in the Premier League is not up to that standard. So I get that. Yeah, I think this is a good opinion. Next opinion, Arsenal is not a big club. 0 European titles, 1 invincible season, which they had 30 draws. They're only big in England, and that's it. I agree, moving on. This next one I find quite interesting. No idea how unpopular this is, but I really believe Edison is a goalie that looks good only because of the defenders in front of him. Also, Onana wouldn't be this bad if he wasn't playing in a struggling Man United squad. Starting with the Onana thing, I disagree with that. I think he's still not a great keeper. You know, he fumbles such easy chances a lot of the time. Such easy saves, just mistakes that you just can't be making at this level. But I do kind of agree also at the same time, because I go, the amount of clutch saves he's had to make for that team, those defenders keep putting him in that position. So obviously, making however many saves a game, you're gonna start to make mistakes. You're gonna find a chink in the armor, right? And I get that. So I think I'm gonna agree with the Onana statement, but the Edison statement. I really believe Edison is a goalie that looks good only because of the defenders in front of him. I'd never thought of that. I mean, I think about it maybe when I go for EPL and I go, he doesn't have to make that many saves. But when he does have to make a save, obviously I've seen some good ones, but that's just doing your job. I think I agree with that one too. Dang, I'd never really thought of it like that. That's a good opinion. Here's one I really, really like. Salary cap to make leagues more competitive. I don't understand why this isn't already a thing. I thought this was already a thing, and then I found out it wasn't. And I was like, that's dumb. You can just spend unlimited money, which is literally how they do it, right? I take it back to FPL, right? You have a limited budget because you can't just buy all of the good players. You have to strategically pick the players that are going to score you lots of points so you can sacrifice in a different area, and you have to be strategic with your team building. And I think it should be the same in leagues, because you get teams like Manchester City where they buy success, or Chelsea where they just have infinite squad depth, right? And it just becomes unfair, right? So I 100% agree with this opinion. I think there should be salary caps on leagues to make them more competitive at the end of the day. Good opinion. Here's another one I really like. I like women's football more nowadays. I agree with this. And I have only one reason why. And it is the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. I think that was incredible. I followed it all the way to the end. Obviously, I'm Australian, so I'm a little bit biased. The Tillies smashed it, came out a little bit short, but ultimately gave the nation faith in women's football and Australian football in general, because the Socceroos have not been doing a great job lately, right? But that whole tournament, I found myself just getting into it. And I've been to a couple of their games live, and it's so cool to watch. And if you honestly watch them with an open mind, you will more than likely, 9 times out of 10, find yourself getting into it, celebrating goals, and then like getting frustrated at conceding goals. And it's obviously it's a developing area of the sport, but I definitely think it is heading in the right direction. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased as well, because my own sister is on her way to that kind of pathway where she wants to be one of the Matildas, and I've watched a lot of her games, and I've seen her perform quite well. And if she ever sees this video, she's never going to let me live down that I'm complimenting her like this. But like, I've been exposed to the women's football scene a lot more over the last 5 years, and it's really evolved, and I enjoy it. I really thoroughly enjoy it. So that's a good opinion as well. Alrighty, final opinion of the video. Pele is the greatest footballer to ever live. I don't know about this one. Look, I hate to say it, but yes, Pele has done incredible things for the sport, and it's undeniable his impact on the sport. But I think to claim him as the greatest footballer to ever live, he has to be able to outperform every player to ever live. And I think the game when he was playing was so much different, and specifically it was so much slower, right, than it is today. And I think if you plop prime Pele into the current Premier League, La Liga, I don't think he does very well. I don't think so. I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But I don't know. I'm not feeling this one, chat. Again, let me know what you think. But yeah, no, that's a bad opinion. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe. That helps out the channel heaps. And if you subscribe, you get a lifetime contract to Hanro FC. Your contract will never be terminated. Don't forget to leave in the comments your unpopular football opinions. I want to hear them, and maybe in another video I will go through your unpopular football opinions. But for now, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye now.